I was once told that only 1 in 3 approvals ever sees the light of day. So by that, I mean 1 in 3 approvals that makes it all the way from DA stage right through to the final sign off on the BA or the building approval. Now, earlier this week, BDQ, Building Designs Queensland, invited myself and a few other consultants, like a certifier, structural engineer, to give our insight as to why we think this is. So more specifically, to provide 3 reasons within our own industry which we think kind of contribute to this problem. So I thought, hey, why don't I use this week's video to share some of my presentation with you? I thought I'll start this week with reason number 1, and if you guys like this video, next week I can do reason number 2, and the following week I can do reason number 3. So let's jump behind the computer and let me show you what I got. Okay, so probably the first issue, let's just say, that I see people come across is that they fail to appreciate that each and every single site across the city is totally different. It's totally unique in terms of what rules and requirements apply to it. People often fall into the trap of thinking, oh, I've done a site like this before, like it had an old sort of Queenslander on it, it was roughly the same size, like 610 square meters. Yeah, I got this down pat. Or they sit there and go, oh, I did a site around the corner, or even I did next door, so I know what to do on this one. Yeah, I want to use this example here to really reinforce why you cannot just sit there and go, I've done this before, and why each site, like I said, is totally unique. So this example we've got here, it's in the western suburbs of Brisbane. What you can see is these properties up here, they're coloured in like a pinky, sort of pale pink colour. That is CR1, Character Residential 1. Now, when it comes to Character Residential 1, you can do 450 square metre front lots, 600 square metre rear lots, and you cannot do higher uses like units, townhouses, dual occupancy, all of that sort of stuff. Pop right next door, we've got this really pale, pastel-y sort of peachy's not the right word, what am I going for? Let's just go salmon-y? No, let's just go pale pink. I'm overthinking it now. Pale pink colour right here, that's low density residential. When it comes to low density residential, in super simple terms, you need 400 square metres for a front lot, 600 square metres for a rear lot, and you can't do high uses like units, townhouses, dual occupancies. You pop across the other side of the road and we've got again that pinky sort of colour, but it's CR2 this time. Now when it comes to CR2, you can do 300 square metre front lots, 450 square metre rear lots, and you can now do high unit uses like units, dual occupancy, townhouses, all of that sort of stuff. But you do need a rather large lot size before you can start doing those sort of uses. However, then if you jump across the road, we come to LMR2, low to medium density residential 2. In this area, you can do 260 square metre front lots, 350 square metre rear lots, and you can do units, townhouses, dual occupancies on smaller sort of allotments like 600 square metre lots. So as you can see, we've got 4 different types of zonings here, all a stone's throw from each other, all with totally different requirements. I mean, over here, 450 square metre front lots, no higher uses. Over here, 280 square metre front lots, and you can do those higher sort of uses. But let's take it one step further. When it comes to CR1 and CR2, you typically get TBC, or Traditional Building Character Overlay, hand in hand. That overlay has the impact, let's just say, of protecting pre-1947 houses. So any pre-47 houses on this side of the road or over here, they're protected. However, you're not going to get that TBC, generally speaking, in low density residential. So any pre-47 houses over here, they're not going to be protected. So you can demolish them and build new over here, whereas you could not do the same thing over here. Again, let's take it one step further. The demolition beyond the highest and rearmost ridge exemption, so super simple terms, the exemption that allows you to typically remove the rear half of the house, that does not apply to corner allotments. However, it can apply to other allotments where it's not a pre-1911 house. I won't go into detail, but let's just keep it simple now. So that means that, if I find my cursor again, this property here, in theory, you could chop off the rear half of the house and do whatever you like at the back. This property here, however, you can't go and chop off the rear of the house. So what you start to see is, like I said, you can be standing at this intersection right here. You can be turning around from block to block and see exactly the same thing. So see pre-1947 houses on similar sized blocks. To the average sort of person from a common sense perspective, you would look at it and go, cool, the rules are going to be exactly the same. But what I've just shown you there is that the rules can be totally different from one site to the next, around to the next. So this is where we see people go wrong all the time. They fail to appreciate the complexity of the rules, and therefore they fail to ask questions early on. This means they get all the way through the design process, often right through to the certifier, and then they get the nasty little surprise of, where's your town planning approval? What's town planning? And back they come to me. So, moral of the story, or the point I want to get across in today's video is please, 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 before you start work on a site, before you put pen to paper as a designer, ask questions. Find out what rules and requirements apply to that specific site, what you need to know in advance. Okay, that covers off everything I wanted to talk about today. As I said, if you guys like this video, give us a thumbs up, all of that sort of stuff. What I'll do is next week I'll cover off point number 2 that I did in my presentation. As I always say, until next time, thanks for watching.
For all you red tape lovers out there, I have one thing to say. Well, no, actually, I've got 3. Number 1, the advice provided in these videos is general in nature. It's not site specific. You would be a silly billy to go and make financial decisions based on this advice without first checking with the town planner. Don't be a silly billy. Number 2, Brisbane town planning is in no way linked to Brisbane City Council. The views expressed in these videos are my own, not council's. So if you don't like them, blame me, not council. Number 3, what was my number 3? Oh yeah, the views expressed in these videos are accurate at the time of recording. If you're watching this video back 10 years from now, the views may not be so accurate. That's all. Bye.